में मन नहीं लग रहा. Make a plan. Make a plan. ऐसे ही quit मत करना. Make a plan and then figure out. कुछ बताओ कैसे घुसा जाए. Hi Ayush, RTC. Hi Rajhans. Hi. Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. Today in this episode we are going to talk about how to build a career in the gaming industry. One of the topics that I speak a lot about on my YouTube channel, and a lot of panels or talks that I do, because this is one of the things. This is like the base of everything. Like everybody wants to get into the gaming industry, they don't even have any information on what to do, how to get into the industry, and that is why I try to put out a lot of information based on this particular topic. So, in today's session, we are going to talk about the same thing. Just a second, give me a second. Okay, I'm just trying to fix the camera. Still the camera is bad, but okay. कैसे e-sports में career बनाए? E-sports में कैसे career बनाए? Okay. Let's first talk about game development, gaming industry. So when you talk about gaming industry, it's basically two parts. First is the game development industry, and the second is the gaming. Gaming in the sense the people who play games. So either you develop games or you play games. So both of them are two divisions of the gaming industry altogether in India, and you need to figure out what is it that you have to do, that you want to do. Pratik's question here, which is the second part, which is making a career in something where you actually play games, right? It's a different route, but let's first talk about the game development side of it, because that is something that people are more curious and want to understand, because this is the time which is exactly similar to like 10-15 years back, when people were interested in doing MBBS and engineering, right? Two hot career options that people had 15-20 years back. Either you become a engineer or you become a doctor. Similar kind of phase is going on right now, where everybody wants to become a game developer. More than that, everybody wants to start up their own studios, the gaming studios, right? And if you see at all the industries, there is an overlap. Any kind of industry you take, right? Even if it's like a medical industry, there is an overlap of of game into it, which we call as gamification, right? So even if it's like a training purpose thing, wherein you are teaching, if you see Indian government right now using military, training Air Force pilots with a simulation, which is a gamification of what they did in a practical locations. They now do it with simulations. And on gamification part, there are a lot of use cases. There are a lot of applications in real life where people are using those things. So the point I'm trying to make here is every industry in India right now wants to be a part of gaming, wants to have gaming as one of the intersection point in whatever they're doing. And that is the reason why a lot of people, a lot of kids, a lot of enthusiasts who want to start their careers, who want to be into the gaming side of it, who want to become either game developers, the people who code games, or game artists or game designers or whatever. But then the question remains, gaming industry में आना है लेकिन करना क्या पता नहीं, right? So here's what you need to do. I'll explain you step by step. First, I'll tell you what are the broad domains if you want to get into the game development industry. Okay, and then I'll tell you in each of the domains how do you exactly enter. How do you make money in gaming? very broad question. I'll talk about it. How is the Indian gaming industry going to be in future? How to make enough amount of money in gaming for a month? If I don't know the coding, should I go until on which platform? Okay, I'll take all these questions, but let me first brief you about the categories, the domains in the game development industry in India. So, if you look at the West, the global industry, there are a lot of specifications, specializations, right? What I mean to say here is, if you just choose game design as a topic, then in game design itself, there are multiple specializations that you can do. You can either become a gameplay designer, you can become a vehicle designer, you can become a narrative designer, a dialogue designer, a level designer, a challenge designer, a lot of quest designer, a lot of things. And these profiles exist in West because there are a lot of AAA gaming companies outside India, and that is why there is scope for these profiles. But if you look at India there are not many people, not many companies who are making AAA games or bigger titles, right? And that is the reason these profiles also don't exist. India is more of mobile market, right? So you will see a lot of businesses making games on mobile. And one question that kids keep on asking is, is why is India not making AAA games? To counter that question, if I ask you what is the real audience, gaming audience in India, your answer would be people who own PCs, consoles, high-end machines are the real gaming audience. No, my friend, that's not the truth. The real gaming audience in India are the uncles and aunties sitting in the tier 2 and tier 3 rural areas of the country, who own very low end devices. And because of the penetration of internet and low end devices in India, Geo and the smaller devices, people have access to internet through mobile phones and not through PCs and consoles. And people in tier 2 and tier 3 are using this. And these people are the real gaming audience of India. Why do you think Ludo has, has been the top game from India? Because the audience, love, because there is a huge amount of, people audience who are playing this game. Even PUBG, you will see a lot of people in tier 2, tier 3 playing that game, more than the metropolitan areas. And that is why India is mobile focused. Now coming back to the point, because it's mobile focused, in mobile there are very few domains, and we in the industry categorize it into 4 main domains. Okay, now the very first domain is game design, the second is game art, the third is game programming, and the fourth is game testing. Okay, game design, game art, game programming, and game testing. That is it. These are the entry points. You can have specializations within the company when you grow in that sector later on in your career. But to start in any gaming company, these are the 4 broad categories. It's not that there aren't other domains. There are things like game analytics, where you are only focused on analytics. There is revenue, but all these profiles are only accessible to the experienced guys. Nobody in the gaming company will hire a fresher to look at the revenues of their company or the analytics, which needs a lot of research, right? So for fresher level, there are these 4 main categories: game design, game art, game programming, and game testing. Okay, what is game design? Game designing is nothing but writing a game. It has nothing to do with the art. And that is a biggest myth that the people in India, the kids in India have. I get a lot of messages from people, from kids saying, I know Photoshop, I know 3D Max, I know Maya, I want to become a game designer. No, my friend, you are not a game designer. Then you are a game artist. Game designer is someone similar to a movie, to a writer of a movie. If you compare it with movies, you have a writer for a movie, right? Game designer is doing the exact same thing in the gaming industry. He is writing a game. He's writing the game, he's writing the characters, their backstory, he's writing about the world in which the game is going to be played, he's writing about the challenges, he's writing about the levels. Every detail, narrative, dialogues, everything is done by game designer. What tool game designer uses is just a simple doc file, just a simple plain document. That is it. The job of a game designer is to create a lot of documents using which game artist and game programmer can create the game. Okay, so first domain is game designer, where you write a game. The second is game artist, who is responsible to create the visual elements in the game. If you see Mario visually, if you see Mario and all kind of stunts that he does in the game, everything is done by a game artist. If you see Tommy Vercetti in Vice City, in GTA, the 3D character and all his animations, they are done by a game artist. So everything which is visual, the world, the characters, the vehicles, everything is done by game artists. What does a game artist use? He uses digital tools like Photoshop, Maya, Max, Blender, ZBrush, Cole, Substance Painter, all these things which can give you a great output in visual terms. The third category is game programmer, someone who is intelligent in terms of logic, in terms of algorithms, who can code, who's good at scripting, who can use programming languages like C, C Sharp, Java, and multiple other languages, who can read the document written by the game designer, then take the art assets made by the artist, put together in his code, and make them lively using his code. That is a game programmer, right? Then the fourth category is the game tester. Game tester, as we all know, is a guy who tests for all the bugs in the game, right? If bugs are basically errors and wrong functionalities that are not supposed to be in the game, but unfortunately they exist, and game tester's job is to figure that out. So these are the four main categories if you are looking to kickstart your career in the gaming industry. Let me quickly take the questions first. How do you make money in gaming? A lot of options by creating games, by working as a consultant for other gaming companies. There are a lot of things I can't really. How is the Indian gaming industry? It's going to be amazing. India is going to be one of the top two gaming markets in the whole world in the next 3 years. How to make enough money? How to make enough amount of money in gaming if you have a game, put ads into it or in-app purchases, and run it, and you'll make money. If I don't know the coding, should I go Unreal or Unity? If you don't know coding, the first thing you need to do is learn coding. Because Unreal and Unity both support visual scripting where you don't need to code. But कितना ही करियर में क्या ही करेगा तू आगे जाके ये visual scripting करके, right? It's not going to help you to grow, right? It's like if I give you an automatic car, you can drive that car very well because it's automatic, right? The moment I will give you a manual car, after you drive the automatic car for 3 years, you'll screw it up. That is the biggest difference. If you can script, if you can code well, so visual scripting is very easy, but it's not the other way. Which platform have the more potential in future, like mobile or PC or VR? Mobile, definitely, because penetration and the number of devices is huge compared to PC. PC still has its own craze and its own way of monetization, so it will still be big, but mobile is going to dominate. So what are the resources of revenue for an esport team owner? Brands, that's it. Brands and the prize pools, but brands are huge. Whatever these gaming or these esports team owners are making, it's majorly from the IP and the brands. In terms of the players also, they create IP around the players and make them popular so that they make money from their IP as well. I want to become a gamer. When then what should I do? Gamer. If you are focused on getting into a team like Soul, right, which is one of the biggest in India, you should quit that dream, because you know what, they have their own ways of scouting gamers. If you want to become that, and if you want teams like that scout you, you need to create your own community first. You need to first create your own craze, your own buzz, and there are a lot of free platforms out there. Just go and start playing. There's Booyah, there's YouTube. Just stream the games that you play. You don't need, if you want to become a professional gamer, you need to be good at, you need to have that skill. If you just want to become an entertainer, YouTube is a platform. Just go and do all kind of stupid stuff. People, if people like it, they love it, and they'll keep on coming to watch it. How to enter esports when you don't have a good device? Like people who have low end device do not get support or any reach, and as it lags, we cannot play that good. Uh, this is something I like. It might be brutal to listen to what I'm saying, but you want to participate in a bike racing competition without having a bike, without um, you're saying you want to become the best in the bike racing competition, but you don't even want to buy a simple bike which is decent enough where you can practice, um, and improve your skills. Uh, you need to do that. That's your investment. You need to have a good device. Uh, that's your one-time investment, right? You need to do that. Again, you want to become a doctor, but you don't want to spend money to become to have the MBBS degree. Could you kindly explain the consultant in gaming job? Again, that's something that you'll have only when you have good amount of experience, right? If people see um, your portfolio and the kind of work that you've done before, then only you'll get that opportunities. It's like people, if you're a game designer, people, there are companies who want to gamify their processes and they don't have that expertise. They hire consultants who are game designers, who are product owners, who can plan out the whole design, the gamification design for them. I do game consultancy a lot, wherein I help companies improve their processes, or probably just information that they need, and I share that information and we get paid for that. Do we have to do we have to how to make do we have to know, make own game engine to enter as a, no, uh, that's something that you might do 5 years down the line in your career. As an indie game developer, do we have to have our own YouTube channel? No, you don't. It's a different career altogether. I'm very confused in making mobile horror game, but I'm confused in choosing Unity or Unreal. If you're working on it's a very simple. There's a very simple solution to this. If you're making a mobile game, quit Unreal, work on Unity, because Unreal does not have it isn't that great in terms of optimization compared to Unity. If you want to make a game for PC or console, then prefer Unreal. Then just don't use Unity. Can I become indie game? Okay, coming back to the topic. Like I mentioned, four broad categories: game design, game art, game programming, and game testing. Let's first talk about game design. Now, game design, there are three main skills I feel a person should possess. The first one is visualization. There is a lot that you have to do when you become a game designer. You need to think of worlds, characters that don't exist. Obviously, everything that you see around can be translated into games. Like somebody someday somewhere saw a car stuck in a parking lot, and then it became a parking simulator, right? It's a game. uh, you need to have that observation skills. You need to have you need to consume a lot of media. You need to watch a lot of movies. You need to watch a lot of series. you need to read a lot of books. So when you are aware and have knowledge about everything, not everything as such, but a lot of things, you would be in a good position to think of multiple things. Just imagine a scenario where the upper management, the higher management comes and tells you that okay, as a game designer, you we as a company need to create a game from tomorrow which is based on Greek mythology, and you as a game designer have never heard about Greek mythology. That's a problem, right? Then you'll start from scratch and understand what is Greek mythology. Obviously that's one process, but if just imagine if you are aware of it, if you know who Hercules was, what Troy was, what who Achilles was, and or all the who Zeus was, or the gods that existed in Greek mythology, then it becomes very easy for you to execute. So the first one is visualization. The second one is documentation. So when you design a game, uh, you probably scribble a lot, you figure out multiple ideas, but the core idea of the game is in your head because you're the game designer. But you need to have good skills to put that idea from your head onto the paper in a very beautiful way that anybody who reads the document understands the game. That's a skill, right? So you need to have a very good documentation style or documentation skills. The third thing is obviously the communication skills. Game designer is a link between all the teams. So there is an art team, there's a programming team, there's a testing team, and there's a game designer who manages the whole game. Once he has written and created that game design document, he needs to consistently talk to all the teams and make sure that the game is in sync with what he has written in the document. So he needs to communicate these things with all the teams on everyday basis. So you need to have a good communication skill, right? Along with this, there are a lot of lingos and terminologies that you need to know if you want to become a game designer. There are a lot of institutes, colleges in India, which I always say, always recommend to stay away from, because 90% of colleges or institutes in India are teaching game art in the name of game design. You don't need to learn 3D Max, Maya, Photoshop if you want to become a game designer. It's just about writing a game and understanding the terminologies. What is game mechanic? What is core loop? What is gameplay? What is game flow? What is UI? What is all the things? It's more of user behavior and how you engage player in the game, right? That's the game designer's job. Um, okay, plugging in. I have uh, I have recently launched a course on game design called Game Design Masterclass. If you haven't, if you haven't heard of it, I'll just put down a link over here, because it has all the things that I just spoke about. It just helps you kickstart your game design career. Um, because it has all the industry insights. It's not the textbook based course. It's from the experience that I have. I have put together a 3 hour long video course that you can just go and buy. It's just for $5.99, and it's the limited offer. But in this course, you will understand all the aspects of game design. If you are very new to what game design is, if you just go through this course, you will get to understand all the insights about game design. What should a person do to start his career in game designing in India? What are the terminologies? What are the principles of game design? What is GDD? How to make a GDD? How to make a game design portfolio? A lot of things, and it's very, very useful if you want to become a game designer. So again, if you haven't yet discovered this course, I recently launched a course. There's a link here. Just go and try it out. So that was about game design and a good plugin. But let's just talk about game art. In game art, like I mentioned, person is responsible to create all those art assets. Now, nobody in game design, game art, game programming, or game testing, no company is worried about your graduation or your degree or your certificates. All they need is your skills, right? So in game art, what you need to do is just polish all these tools. So if you want to become a 3D um, game artist, you need to have great knowledge of Maya, Max, Photoshop, all the tools that I mentioned, right? The visual tools, the digital tools where you can create visual elements. You need to polish those skills. And once you polish those skills, you create a portfolio which the person sees, the interviewer sees, and he hires you. That is it. He is not worried about which college you're from, what degree you have, what are you even graduate or not. There are a lot of amazing portfolios of people who are not even 12th pass, but they have created great art assets and have got hired in, you know, Ubisoft or Rockstars in India. I know a lot of people like that. So, um, like I said, again, any company who is hiring is not worried about your certifications. All they need is to look at your skills. Game artist, for a game artist, it's very easy to just, you know, put together his work on probably on Instagram um, or on ArtStation, and just give that link to the employer. What you need to do in terms of your academics, probably it's a plus point if you do a graduation in BFA, which is fine arts, right? If you do a BFA, your base will also be very, very good. You'll have a lot of knowledge on the anatomy or the digital or the classic art, right? Um, which we used to do in elementary and intermediate. It's a advanced things in BFA. But compared to a normal guy who just has knowledge about all the tools, you will have much more knowledge and much more understanding of the colors or a lot of things, right? So having that as a college degree would help you, but it's not necessary. Again, the third is game programmer. Now, a game programmer is someone who definitely needs to have knowledge on OOPS, which we call as object-oriented programming language, right? So OOPS are basically are basic principles or concept of programming, and they are a part of all the languages, right? So even if you focus on C# or C++, the concepts are same. The syntax is different, but the concepts are same. Now, if you want to become a game programmer, and let's say if you're just in 10th or 12th and you want to become a game programmer, probably doing these basic courses of programming would get you some knowledge where you can start coding yourself. Apart from that, if during your college or your graduation, if you choose engineering, Bachelor of Computer Science, Bachelor of Computer Applications, then it is a plus point for you, because in these courses you have basics of programming from year one itself, right? So if it's engineering, BSc, computer science, BCA, all these things will get you a good understanding of programming languages. And on top of that, so it's a base, right? It's a base level concepts that you get to understand when you do that. On top of that, then you need to choose your engine. If you want to become a PC and console game developer, probably using Unreal is a great idea. But again, there are drawbacks also, because there are not many companies using Unreal in India. Because like I said, there are a lot of mobile gaming companies in India, and they tend to use Unity because it's optimized. So at this stage, everybody who is starting new, probably it would be helpful for you if you know both the engines, right? So that is about the game programmer. The fourth is the game tester, and for a game tester, it's more of a passion driven job. wherein you need to play games, and that is just 50% of the job, right? People think game testing is easy, but it is not. I'll tell you two things which are required as a game tester, right? First is it's not just about playing games. There, like game designing, there are some terminologies and lingos in game testing as well. What is a bug sheet? What are test cases? What are use cases? What is functional testing? What is regression testing? A lot of terminologies which you come to you understand only when you do some basic testing certifications. So just to get that grasp or get that knowledge about basic testing in general, software testing in general, just do there are a lot of 3-4 month courses about manual testing or automation testing is a bit difficult or an advanced level, but manual testing you can do a simple certification and understand that whole scenario and then probably go into game testing. But when you're on job, when you are a game tester, right? People think game testing is easy because they just have to play games. No, it's not. There are two things, right? You need to be very, very patient if you're a game tester. And second is you need to have a very high attention span to details, right? The first one, patience. Why this is important is because you might have played GTA Vice City, right? And I'm sure 9 out of 10 people watching this got stuck in the helicopter level, right, where you plant the bombs. You struggled a lot. You struggled for days to complete that level. Most of you just quit the game because you couldn't complete that, right? If you are a game tester, you had to play that level for 2000 times just to figure out if there is any issue in that level. For this reason, you need to be very, very patient about it. Like, I gave this example because everybody is familiar with that, but just to speak about it in general, you as a game tester need to play each and every level multiple times to figure out the issues in the game. It doesn't matter whether you like that level or you don't. You need to consistently play it to figure out bugs in the game. So that is why being patient about your job as a game tester is very, very important. The second thing is attention to details, is because imagine so functional testing is a testing where you figure out issues in the functions, the basic core functionalities of the game. X number of things are supposed to happen in a game if I do this, and if that is not happening, you need to report that. That's simple functional testing. When it comes to regression testing is more of doing random stuff, right? So in this scenario, let's just assume that there is a level and you just tap like 20 times randomly on random objects on a screen, and all of a sudden you figure out a bug, right? Now you as a game tester need to, what is the next thing that you're going to do? Are you going to tell the programmer that when you're reporting the bug, are you going to tell the programmer that I don't know what I did, but I did 20 taps on the screen and this thing came? The programmer is never going to figure how did you get that issue. When you are a game tester, you need to be careful in your steps as well, and you need to be able to reproduce the bug so that you can show it to the team so that they can solve it. So when you're tapping those 20 taps, you need to know what are the steps that you did so that you can repeat that, reproduce the bug, show it to the programmer, and then they can solve it. And that is why you need to have a very high attention to details, right? While you're playing games, while you're testing games. So yeah, it is not easy, but it is fun. All the four domains, whichever you choose, they're fun. It's just that um, a couple of questions that always come, even when I talk about all these four domains, is that I want to become a game developer. Sir, I want to become a game developer. That's it. The very first step you need to do is, like I mentioned, all those four domains, right? Now you need to figure out what is it that you love. Out of these four things, what is it that you love and you would be capable of doing for years, right? I know a lot of people who just for the sake of it become game programmer when they're not interested, or they don't have enough skills, or that logical or capabilities to become or advance into game programming. But just for the sake of everybody is becoming a game programmer. So if you're good at art, if you are good at sketching, probably your domain is game art. If you just can think about multiple worlds, or you can think about different aspects of challenges, probably game design is your forte. If you're good at programming by default, then game programming is your thing. So first and foremost, what you need to do is understand what is it that you love and you can keep doing for years to come. That's the very first step. Once you're sure about about what domain you are going to choose, eliminate all the other things. If you think, let's say, if you get to a point where you think, okay, I think I'm artistic, I can draw things, I know I have a sense of colors, I am a bit creative, probably, and I love working on digital tools like Maya and 3D Max, I should choose game art, right? When I choose game art, eliminate game design, game programming, and game testing, and only focus on game art. Then figure out how do you upscale your skills in game art, and that is how you enter into the industry. Just focusing on one particular thing. I know a lot of people, a lot of young kids, and this is something that you definitely should avoid. I know a lot of kids who say, I know game design, I know game art, and I know game programming. I'm an indie game developer. Don't do this. No company is interested. If you go to a company, if you go to any company and tell them, I know game art, I know game design, I know game programming, hire me. They are not interested. They are just not interested. But if you go and tell them, I'm a game designer or I'm a game artist, I know these tools, this is my work, and I only want to become a game artist, that is how companies will hire you. Specialization in one domain is necessary. Having knowledge of all the things is great, because imagine someday, you know, down the line, you probably want to start your own thing, own studio or company. Then this might be very helpful because you have understanding of all the things. But till that time, just focus on one particular domain. That is it. Do not rush into multiple things and say that I know everything. Okay, that is what is all about. Getting into the gaming industry. I'll take quick questions here. I'll take a few questions here. Um, how to become environment artist for games, and what are the softwares that we have to learn? Environment artist, if you want to become, it's Maya, Blender, Max. These are the 3D tools. Use Substance Painter for textures or Photoshop, and start creating environments. Degree doesn't matter, brother. Yes. Do you do G review? Okay, right. Job in product based versus service based. Both are fun. Both are fun. Get experience of both. You'll love both. Product based is more focused because you only think about that one product 24/7. Service based is more of getting things done within deadlines. That's it. But if you have if you want a lot of work under your belt, you probably do service based work, because then you can talk about show off saying you worked for multiple brands. What types of questions are asked for a game developer designer generally? See, again, a developer is a different thing and a designer is a different thing. You need to first figure out what is the answer that you're looking for in interviews. Is BCA good degree for becoming UI UX designer? There is no connection. BCA is Bachelor of Computer Applications. It's going to teach you programming. UI and UX designer is more of a user behavior job. It's more of a graphic job. It's more of a game designer's kind of a job. It's nowhere connected. Degree doesn't matter. Okay, is BCA okay? How to become an okay? What are the typical interview questions for the role of game designer? Majorly, when you're Palash, game designers interviews are very tricky, and there is no standard set of questions like for a programmer you tend to ask the questions on Unity or base programming languages. But in game designing, it depends on companies how they structure it. But majorly, what we try to do is to understand your perspective about particular game or dissecting the game. So, for example, just giving you in an interview, just giving you an example of Counter-Strike and telling you right there on that moment to make it better. As a game designer, just make Counter-Strike better. What are the things that you're going to do within that game? These are all spontaneous things that a game designer needs to think of. You can't just prepare for it and go. What are the three things you like about Mario? What kind of games do you play? Then probably the terminologies are very important. If I ask you what is game mechanics, tell me what is game mechanics. Tell me what is core loop. Tell me what are the design principles. All these things. And if you want to know all these things, go and buy the course. I have added the link on top of it. Just go and buy the course. I have added all these important aspects in the course. इंडिया में स्कोप है क्या एनवायरनमेंट आर्टिस्ट का? कॉज जो अपने सॉफ्टवेयर बताया वो तो मॉडलिंग के लिए यूज होता है. आई डू मॉडलिंग ऑलरेडी, बट these are the same tools. These are the same tools that I used. How to get internship in game programmer? Just I have 2-3 demos or prototypes created and show it to the company and tell them this is what you have made. You're capable of doing much more things. Just take you in and don't worry about it if it's unpaid or paid internships. It's an entry point. It's always okay to. It might sound wrong, but I am of an opinion that it's just an entry point. You can rather blow the people, off when you start working within the company as unpaid intern. But people are surprised looking at your skills and your the kind of work that you're doing, your professionalism and everything. You might land up a job in that company itself. So it's their job was to give you an entry point. Your job is to convert it into a full-time job. So don't just run behind those 5, 10, 15,000 per month that you're not getting. Try to convert that internship into a full-time job and make more money. Which degree is good for becoming UI UX? There's no specific degree as such. There are a lot of certifications. There are a lot of courses that you can learn from. Any opening? If you're really interested in UI UX designer, follow Sabyasachi from Swiggy, and he's doing some good he's putting out good content on internet. Just check him out. Any openings for game designer in your company? No, not now. How to get foreign clients for making game? Indian clients pay very less. You need to build that brand. You need to build that credibility first. You can't just go and get that US based client who pays you double. Why will he pay you double? You need to build that reputation first. All right, guys, that's it from my side. I think just to summarize, again, getting into the gaming industry is a very easy job, and it's easy if you think about it in a very smart way. Just don't, you know, I know this and I'm a game designer and a game developer to do all this stuff. Focus on one particular domain, dominate that domain, get into the industry, start working. What is your favorite games in all time? Last of Us is on top. Red Dead Redemption 2 is again best. But I love a lot of indie games, um, 3 hour, 4 hours kind of games, and that is why we are building a game called Mukti, which is on PC and console. And we recently got funded from Unreal Engine for the game. So keep watching out, keep following me on Instagram, on or LinkedIn. I put a lot of content out there. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go and subscribe. Most hated game. I don't hate any game. See, it's uh, it's it's perspective, right? It's perspective. It's a lot of hard work making a game. If you don't like it, it's basically not your, like, it's something that you don't uh, relate to, right? Uh, but it's the storyteller's point of view that he wanted to put out, and he did it. Like, I'll give you a biggest example. Last of Us 2 was hated by half of the community because they didn't like the way the story was told. Another character uh, was built up and then stuff happened. I think it was a great game. There can't always be happy endings to games. Um, and it's the director's job, it's the director's vision, it's his narrative, it's his way of telling a story. If you don't like it, it's okay. It's you just don't like it because you're not seeing or playing something that you wanted it to be. It's his vision, and it's told from his perspective. And making a game is very difficult. It's blood and sweat. So I don't hate any games. It's just that. Also, I don't tend to play all games, so I don't hate the games that I don't play. Get it? Also, would one also require real experience in game design to get into reputed studio? Would you one also require real experience? I don't get the question, brother. But do game jam helps us? Of course, it does. If it teaches you two, three things. One is working in a team with unknown people who you get to work as a team. Then a collaborative effort that you can show. There's leadership, there's time management, there's people management, a lot of things that you can learn in those 24, 48 hours of a game jam. All right, guys, that's it from my side. I think I have covered it all. Just focus on domain that you want to grow your skills into and then just dominate it. Last thing before I go, there's an auction panel over here on the right top corner. Just check that out. If you want to have a one-on-one mentorship session with me, just bid it and I'll accept the request. And if you want to join the live stream, there's another option. That's it from my side, guys. Signing off. My name is Vaibhav. I'm the founder and CEO of Underdogs. See you all soon. Bye-bye.